guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. In today's video, I'm doing a part 2 of my last video, which was baby product essentials. Today I'll be talking about baby product regrets, as well as what I regret not registering for when I had Charlotte. So Charlotte is almost a year old, for those of you who don't know, so I've had a full year of experience being a first-time mom, and I've definitely realized which products I love and which products I didn't love so much. Just a little disclaimer before we get started, I am in no way bashing these products. If you love them, that is great. However, these products just did not work for me or Charlotte and our experience. So there is nothing wrong with the brands, probably nothing wrong with the products themselves. We just did not like them. So let's get into it. The first product I'm going to talk about are the Dr. Brown's bottles. So I had originally registered for the Philips Avent bottles. However, I kept hearing amazing things about the Dr. Brown's bottles and how they were great for breastfed babies. They were great for gassy babies. So I changed my registry and registered for the Dr. Brown's. Now, Charlotte was exclusively breastfed, so I didn't need bottles a whole lot, but obviously when we left her with somebody, we would need to give her a bottle of pumped milk, or if my husband wanted to feed her, he would use a bottle. So we tried these bottles out. They were okay at first. We did have to supplement with formula at the very beginning just because it took my milk a while to come in. So we did use them at the beginning. They were great. However, over time, Charlotte wasn't too keen on them anymore. They started leaking, which was terrible. They would leak all the time. I didn't find them that great compared to other bottles for gas. We had a little Philips Avent bottle at my in-laws, and I didn't see a big difference in terms of the gas. Charlotte was a little bit of a gassy baby. She needed to be burped very well after every feeding. And I just didn't see the Dr. Brown's bottles making a big difference in that. So yeah, just our experience with the Dr. Brown's bottles is we didn't love them. Another thing is I had so many bottles and I washed and sterilized them all up front. So there was no opportunity to be able to return them or exchange them for something else. Especially if you're considering breastfeeding, I don't recommend buying a whole ton of bottles up front. Another thing is I don't recommend buying a whole ton of one brand bottle because you never know what your baby is going to take to or what they may not like. The next product I'll talk about are receiving blankets. Now, there's nothing wrong with receiving blankets. They definitely have their purposes. I just had so many of them and I wasn't a huge fan of them. I felt like the more you wash them, the rougher they got. However, I did have the muslin swaddle blankets, which I used for basically everything that you would use a receiving blanket for. They do have their purposes, but just for me, I preferred the muslin swaddle blankets over the receiving blankets. Two things that I have that I rarely used, I probably used them a handful of times, are the bottle warmer and the sterilizer. So I had the Dr. Brown's bottle warmer and sterilizer to go with the bottles, but because I rarely bottle fed, I never needed to use them. Again, nothing wrong with the products themselves. I will say one thing about the warmer. I found that it didn't warm the bottle to the appropriate temperature according to the instruction booklet. So the instruction booklet, for example, might tell you, oh, if you have 4 ounces, warm it for 2 minutes. But I still found that it was pretty cold after the recommended amount of time. So that is one thing I will say about the warmer. Otherwise, the two products are great. There's nothing really wrong with them. I just felt like I could have saved the money there, maybe registered for something else or got something else. And I could have used a pot of boiling water to sterilize, which I ended up doing some of the time anyway, because it's just took less effort rather than having to take everything out of the sterilizer and clean everything after and empty all the water. I found it much easier just to use a pot of boiling water. And for the warmer, most of the time I would just put boiled water in a bowl and put the bottle in, leave it there for a few minutes, and that would warm it to room temperature. Another thing was Charlotte didn't necessarily need her milk super warm. She's always kind of taken it a little cooler or room temperature, so it wasn't really a necessity for us to have that. Probably one of my biggest regrets is purchasing a terrible baby carrier. So when I say terrible, I mean it didn't cost a lot of money. I felt like I didn't need to spend a whole lot of money on a carrier. I didn't expect to be baby wearing. Yeah, big mistake there. I really regret the carrier I have just because it's not supportive at all. It has no support to it. At the beginning, I couldn't wear Charlotte in it because she was too small for it. It didn't have enough support for a newborn. By the time I actually could put her in it, it was just not working for us because it doesn't have any good support on it. So I was constantly killing my back. Another thing is I didn't have a wrap carrier either. I don't know what I was thinking. Somebody even offered me one for free and I didn't take it. And yeah, I regret that now. So invest in a good carrier. Another thing we have is the Nest camera. So we're currently using that as a baby monitor. And while I don't regret the product, I just wish we had something different. So the one thing I will say about the Nest camera is it is a video camera. You can connect it to Wi-Fi. You can hear and see the baby. It does send you notifications when it hears a sound. However, I see it more as a toddler or older kid camera to kind of just check on them when you need to. It's not good as a constant baby monitor, although they market it as one. In order for me to check on Charlotte, I need to go into the app to be able to see her. Sometimes if she's crying, it won't send me notifications for a few minutes until after she has already started crying, sometimes even up to 10 minutes. Not a huge deal for us because we do live in a condo, so our bedroom is right next to hers and we can pretty much hear her as soon as she starts. However, I just didn't like this camera. So what I didn't like was I can't leave the camera just running on my phone all night because it constantly overheats my phone. So I definitely wish that we had have invested in just a regular baby monitor with a video camera that didn't necessarily need Wi-Fi or to be on our phone, so I could leave it running all night. We ended up having to buy an audio monitor so that I could hear her through the night. So yeah, that's the only thing I'll say about the Nest is I don't recommend it for first year. So we had a bucket car seat for Charlotte at the beginning. We're now onto a convertible car seat. I did not like our bucket car seat at all. So when I say bucket car seat, I just mean the one that clicks into the base in the car. We had the Graco SnugRide. I think it was the Graco SnugRide 35. It's supposed to be good until the baby is 35 pounds. I didn't like it. I was able to get any car seat that I wanted just because I had the Juvie Cool stroller. So because it wasn't a travel system, they sold adapters so you'd be able to use pretty much any car seat with it. So I did some research, and what sold me about the Graco SnugRide at first was the fact that it's a lightweight car seat. So it only weighs 10 pounds. So for me, I was like, perfect. I am weak. So the 10-pound car seat sold me. We got it. It was iffy. We used it. What I didn't like about it was the straps were constantly loosening on their own, and it wasn't the easiest to adjust the straps. So it was like we constantly had to adjust the straps. Another thing was I didn't feel like the head support was sufficient for a newborn. So I ended up buying a different headrest to put into it, which is not recommended. They don't recommend that you put extra stuff into a car seat that doesn't come with the car seat, but you know, her poor little head was constantly falling as a newborn before she could hold it up properly, and I needed something to support her head. So those were two things that I didn't like about the car seat. I did write into Graco about the issues, and they did offer to exchange the car seat for me. However, the process was just too complicated, and to be quite honest, I wasn't interested in getting the same car seat again. So at about 4 months old, we switched her over to the Graco Extend-A-Fit convertible car seat, which I talk about in my previous video. We love that one. So the issue is definitely not with Graco, it's just the specific car seat that we didn't like. So another thing is I registered for a bunch of small baby towels. Now, I kind of wish up front that I registered for toddler towels. So the reason that I regret getting so many baby towels was because Charlotte grew out of them so fast. Like by 3 months old, they were already getting too small for her. They weren't keeping her warm anymore. So that was one of my baby product regrets, because we have all these towels. We only use them for a few months. And now we're onto a toddler towel, and she has at least a year left to go before she'll grow out of this thing. Plus, I found the baby towels that I did get were very thin and they started wearing. And now we have a bamboo toddler towel, and that one is much, much better. So when you hear somebody telling you as a first-time mom, don't go crazy with the newborn clothes, don't buy a bunch of newborn clothes, just get a few sleepers, I recommend listening to them. I didn't have what I would consider a ton of clothes for Charlotte, but she was literally out of newborn clothes within 2 weeks. So even what I did buy, I found was still too much for her. We had a couple outfits, we had some onesies, we had a bunch of sleepers. She literally pretty much lived in sleepers and onesies. And like I said, she was out of them in 2 weeks. So definitely don't recommend buying a whole ton of newborn clothes as well as newborn diapers. I would say start off with a pack or two at the beginning, but then kind of just go and buy them as needed. I know sometimes that might be hard as a first-time mom to get out to buy diapers. However, you don't want to have a whole ton of newborn diapers because they just really grow out of them so fast. So now that Charlotte is almost a year old, she's started to accumulate so many toys, and one of my biggest regrets is buying a ton of light-up plastic singing toys. These things are ridiculous. Yes, I know they have their educational purposes. Yes, Charlotte does enjoy playing with them. However, they all sing the same songs. If you have 3 toys that are VTech, they're all singing the same songs. Same thing if you have 3 toys that are Fisher Price, they all sing the same songs. And yes, they're educational, but they are very repetitive. They're very stimulating. Charlotte gets bored of them super easily. If I had my time back, I would have definitely gotten more of the wooden or imaginative toys, and I think going forward, I'm going to try to do a little bit more of that. Did a little bit more sensory activities instead of just constantly playing with these toys. So yeah, I'm slowly but surely getting over these plastic light-up toys, let me tell you. The last baby product regret that I have is my high chair. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with the function of the high chair. It functions great, serves its purpose. However, it's impossible to clean. There are so many nooks and crannies in this thing. I'm constantly finding crumbs no matter how well I think I've cleaned it. So definitely for baby number 2, when that time comes, I will be investing in a high chair that is simple and super easy to clean. Besides, I don't think that the wear and tear that Charlotte is putting on this high chair will withstand a second baby. So that wraps up my baby product regrets. Now I'll get into what I regret not registering for or not buying. I actually have already started an Amazon baby registry for baby number 2. No, I am not pregnant, and baby number 2 is not on the horizon right now. However, I did want to start this just so I can remember while I'm in the moment which products that I really wish I had. So the first one that I will talk about is a better baby carrier. So I mentioned this previously. I had a very crappy carrier this time around. I feel like a baby carrier is going to be an essential with baby number 2, just because I'll also have a toddler or a preschooler, however old she's going to be at that time, running around as well. And for me to get things done, I'm definitely going to need to be able to multitask. And to multitask, I'm going to need to baby wear. So 2 things I have on my list already: a better baby carrier and a wrap carrier. So right now I have my eye on either the Lily baby or the Ergo baby, as well as the Moby carrier for the wrap carrier. Who knows what's going to come out by the time I have my next baby, but those are the things that I have my eye on right now. The next thing is, since I didn't like the Dr. Brown's bottles next time, I think I'll try either the Komotomo bottles, which seem to be extremely popular right now and extremely well received, or I'll do the Philips Avent bottles, which are the ones I previously registered for before I registered for the Dr. Brown's ones. Again, there could be something else that comes out by that time, but those are the 2 bottles that I have on my list right now to try with baby number 2. Who knows, baby number 2 might not like either of those bottles. However, I'm going to give them a shot. Just on the topic of baby feeding, I also have a double breast pump on my list. This time around, I had a single breast pump. I believe it was the Medela Swing. It was great. It served its purpose. No complaints about it at all. I just feel like I I want a double breast pump to be more efficient with my pumping experience next time, to be able to create a little bit more of a stash than I did this time around. Also, I can't stand pumping, so the quicker I can get it done, the better for me. Along with that, I'm going to try a haka next time. So if you aren't sure what a haka is, basically you just put it on the opposite breast when you're feeding the baby on the other breast, and it catches your letdown or any leakage throughout the feed. Especially in the beginning days, you will have a lot of leakage when you're feeding the baby on the opposite breast. So this just helps catch that letdown and that leakage, and then you can store it for future feeds. I will also be purchasing a pumping bra, so because I'm going to have a double breast pump next time, a pumping bra will just make it easier so that I can pump while I'm playing with the kids or cleaning the kitchen or getting things done. Multitasking is key here. So yeah, I'm going to get a pumping bra. Oh, also I have my eye on the LV pump. Well, I don't know if it's new, but I've just started hearing about it. And basically you just actually put it in your regular bra and you can pump while you're doing things. So that is another option as well. I am also going to try and get either a bumbo or an upseat for the next baby. This time around we had a summer infant 4-in-1 super seat, and while it was super cute and there was nothing wrong with it, Charlotte just didn't like it, and I found that she grew out of it extremely fast. I've now passed that on to somebody, and I'm hoping to either get the bumbo or the upseat for my next baby, just so I feel like they can grow in it a little longer. It could be used as a feeding seat. The upseat especially is supposed to be great for hip dysplasia and for helping the baby's posture as well. So next, I definitely need a baby bouncer chair, I think you call it, for the next baby. Basically, this time around, I didn't have one for Charlotte. I mostly used the Mamaroo to move around. She loved the Mamaroo. When I was cleaning in the kitchen, I just move it over there so I could see her, or wherever I was, I would move it around with me. However, it did get heavy and it wasn't super convenient to move back and forth, so I just want like a lighter baby bouncer chair next time. I really like the Baby Bjorn, however, the price tag isn't great on that, so I might go with a different version, but something similar to that is what I'm looking for. The next thing isn't really what I regret not purchasing, however, it's on my wish list. Nice to have item for baby number 2, either a Snuggle Me or a Dock-a-Tot, so some form of lounger, infant lounger. With Charlotte, I just use my nursing pillow. I would put a muslin swaddle blanket over and just lounge her on that. However, I really love how comfy the Snuggle Me and the Dock-a-Tot look, and the fact that if we do decide to co-sleep with our next baby, we could just put them in it. Yes, I know it's not recommended for sleep, so don't come at me. This is just what I feel would be best for our family. So that is definitely on my list as a nice to have. So that about wraps up my baby product regrets, as well as what I regret not registering for. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.